it's Troy again, and as promised, I am going to unbox TseuQuesT. So let's have a look, see what's inside. Okay, well, it's time to show off the TseuQuesT box. I've got my box ready. Hopefully this is coming up on the tripod. I've got my gentleman jack handy so I can enjoy that as I'm showing you the board game. So yeah, this is the box in all its glory. If we flip it over, we can see the back, beautiful artwork on all areas of the box. It's a very heavy box, I've got to say, compared to HeroQuest. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's open it up and see what Game Zone Miniatures includes in a level 3 box. So I'll also show you the sides of the box once I've taken the lid off as well. So what we can see here is inside the box there are a few compartments. So we've got this compartment here, which is where the cards are held. This is just cardboard. It's a bit flimsy. Inside the compartment we can actually see that it's printed right throughout with the label, which is very cool. So you can see all sides of this are nicely printed, but I don't know, I hope that this, when they get to the final one, that it will be a little bit better than this, but maybe once everything's completely unpacked, that will be quite cool. I love the artwork on this here, which is where all the characters and furniture and so on, the components are in here. And once again, it's very cardboardy. Alright, so here we are. This is where all the main components are of the TseuQuesT. So the characters, the furniture, and so on. So all in here. There we go. And they're all in these numbered bags. So we're going to have a look at these bit by bit in just a moment. But let's have a look at what else is in the box. So we have the furniture and the characters here. We have these cards, which I will unpack, and we also have some more cards here, which I'll have a look at. And then we've got quite a lot of stuff here. So we have some various dials and so on, some things that look like, I'm not sure if these are character sheets or so on, but we'll have a look at those in a moment. Some more tiles. The tiles are actually come out of the cardboard quite easily, so they press out very, very easily, so you're not going to have a problem setting the game up. And this would be the screen. So this is the screen, the game screen that you set up behind the board when you're playing it. And on the Game Master side, you can see all the information there in quite a bit of detail. And I got to say, if it's fairly small, so if your eyes are not great, which mine aren't, you're going to have to switch to some better glasses than what I have. And here we go with the character sheets. So these ones, all different types here. Renegade, Dwarf, and so on. Character sheets there. There's a heap of character sheets. Oh my goodness. More here. Beautiful artwork. The cardboard is thin, but the character sheets are quite large. So if I'm comparing this to what you find in a traditional game, I'd say the artwork is far superior. Perhaps the card quality not as good, at least on these cards, not as thick. And here we have the modular board itself. Modular board, or this is the game board. It's massive. Wow. I don't know if this is coming up, you know, in complete details. This is the reverse side by the looks of it. So that's quite interesting because you've got different layout, obviously, for the game itself. Massive, massive board. Far out. It is huge. And this is the classic one that you would have all seen with the this is more of the traditional, almost HeroQuest type dungeon crawler, but with the TseuQuesT, we have this really different room in the middle here. So this is, you know, instead of it being a square, you've got this different style here, which is going to be interesting when it comes to line of sight. The board is excellent. It's nice and thick, easy to fold, colorful, and I think that's going to look quite good. And that's it. In the base of the box you have another TseuQuesT sample. The actual box itself I quite like. So if this is the box, I quite like the box. But I do think the inserts, I'm not a massive fan, and I also feel like perhaps some of the other things could be a little bit better. But let's have a look now at the individual cards and so on. Okay, so I'm just sitting up here so I can do a bit of a show and tell of the board game. But what I want to show you is, I'm doing this one-handed because I'm holding the camera, how easy it is for everything to, now it's making a liar of me, like everything comes out super easy from the insert. There's no catching pieces of cardboard, they just pop out easy as pie. I've noticed with some other games when you do this, you sometimes end up with, you know, bits of the actual game card when you're pressing it out still stuck onto the insert, which is terrible. Whereas these are just popping out really well. They are thin, but I think this is by design perhaps, because you have to press some of these, you have to press extra pieces into these to make them work, the little dials that go here. But yeah, so far so good. So I'll continue to set this up and then we'll have a look. So I pulled everything out of the box and we've got it all set up so we can go through things a little bit by little bit. So as I said before, the mat, the game board is huge. Like it's massive. And I really like it. I like how it's laid out. I like that it's two-sided. In actual fact, when I overlay HeroQuest board, you can see that it is bigger. Now, it's not massively bigger, but it's a full close to 2 inches wider. So interesting. What's also interesting is the actual tiles where the figurines sit look just that little bit bigger. If I recall correctly, I believe the old original HeroQuest board, the tiles were also a little bit bigger. The other thing is that it goes right to the edge. So the game board has no border as such because the border is in play. So you're going to utilize this whole board for gameplay, and then obviously there is the other side. Let's have a closer look at the Game Master board, the screen. There's a lot of detail on there, a lot. And if I am going to read it, I can actually read it, to be honest, with my glasses, but it is small print. So you know, you're going to probably, if you want to sit somewhere where the light is quite good. But there's a lot of information on there. It's definitely got a lot more information than your classic HQ game. It's also a bit smaller. So this is the view. If I was game master, this would be my view of, you know, there's my hand. So there's not a massive amount of space behind there. So hopefully you don't have to hide too much behind there. And if you're looking at it from the other point of view, you're getting this, which is actually, you know, the artwork is quite exceptional. Now in the box that I had, so I believe I might be missing a few bits and pieces because it is a bit of a prototype box. So these are the dials. So my understanding is that these do clip onto the character sheets. And they help you to keep track of your life and mind points. There's obviously, I think I believe some for monsters and some for heroes. And you've also got these little tiles here, these heart tiles, which obviously indicate life. But I haven't played this game yet, so I don't know exactly what they're for. The box that I have included 3 double-sided extra tiles, which are as so. Nice and thick. I was a bit worried before, but I think when, like that one. That one's very cool. When they're in here in the sheet, they feel a bit floppy, but they're actually really, like, I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on there. It's not bending at all. So they are nice and thick. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. And next we've got the character sheets themselves. Now, once these were punched out, once again, so they are definitely like a bit bendy. They're a softer cardboard, but they're not, by no means are they flimsy. Once I've punched it out, so I can read that fine, but the print is small. It's not massive. Now, these bits here, I believe, are where your dial. So I'll have to put one of those together and see how it all works. And then on the back there's a bit of information on each character. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these cards. So basically there's a heap of cards that are for the protagonists, the monsters, the bad guys, so to speak. And if we have a look at one of the main bad guys, let's have a look at Morcar, for instance. So we can see that we have attack, defense, and movement. And then we have some other information on there as well. So let's have a look at another one. This is the Alpha Orc. And it's a little bit more simple than where we looked at before with Morcar, because we can see with the Alpha Orc, we've got 3 attack dice. We have 3 for defense, and we have a movement of 6. And then we can also see life of 5, and that looks like mind of 5 on my screen. This is actually back to front, so it's a little bit hard for me to read. Now, one of the things with these cards, as I said, is that, like, I cannot read the print on the bottom there. Like, it's nice and clear on the screen there, although it's back to front for me. So if I'm playing the game, I'm only going to have to switch it up to these babies, which are not my normal glasses. These are for a bit more close up, and then I can read it. So tear you apart, or tear you apart. So tear you apart. His crown skulls are unblockable, and his HQs do double damage. Wild onslaught. He can choose to add his defensive dice to his attack if he is already injured, but he will have no defense until his next turn. Performing this attack costs 2 action points. Defenseless against magic. Each mind point lost by magic also subtracts 1 life point. So I can't read that without my good glasses, as in these are a bit lower as far as magnification, and they work fine under normal conditions. I wouldn't say the light in my room is the best, but unfortunately in playing this game, I'm probably going to have to switch it up and wear something a little bit better. So yeah, there's a heap of, these are all specialized bad guys, all of these. So there's an absolute stack. And without being too much of a spoiler alert, you do have your classic gargoyle in there, but you've got, check it out, Morcar and Zargon. That's going to be pretty cool. That's something to look forward to. And there's also a blank one. So look, I'm not 100% sure if this is like if you've lost a card and you want to or need to replace one, you can do it, or perhaps it's for a bit of homebrew. Now, when it comes to the good guys, look how many there are. Oh my goodness, there is a stack here. Now, the game starts off with a classic 8. So these are the 8 classic. So we're starting off with, you've got the mage or wizard, and there's a heap of info on the back as well on each card, and you've got your elf, dwarf, barbarian, enchantress. Look at the artwork on these. Female dwarf, just beautiful. Look at that shield. Female elf and huntress. Now, something to consider, this game was being released, 10 years ago was when it was designed, ready to be to send out into the world. Let me show you, I'm not going to do too many comparisons here, but here's a bit of a comparison in size difference of the cards. Now, when I talked about these were a little bit flimsy, they're nothing compared to these. So if you want to talk about flimsy, that's a lot flimsier. And this is in a card protector. They're a lot flimsier and obviously much, much smaller than these. So the detail on the cards, the little bit of extra info on there. The characters just have a lot more interesting things about them. They're more special in every way. And all these here. Now, as I said, I haven't played this yet. Oh, by the way, you also get a blank one as well, just as you do with the adversaries. So, having not played it, I'm not 100% sure if... I understand there's extra characters in the board game, but I'm not sure how many of these are ones you can actually play with, or if some of these are characters that you acquire as you play the game. But we will find out. Let's have a look at what else is in the box. So in the box there were 3 packs of cards, and I've basically got them into bundles. So we have these cards here, and now these seem to be these cards, they seem to be like a special spell, like this, the one I'm reading at the moment here. Invoke Paladin, primordial chaos warrior appears. Any unoccupied space adjacent to the caster. So, yeah, look, not quite sure where they fit in. There'd be some sort of casting one. So we also have these ones here. Now these would be equipment cards, and they look beautiful. You know, the artwork on these is just stunning. Look at that plate armor. Wow. just lovely. Easy to read. Let's do a comparison against that. So what I'm unsure about those cards is whether they're a quest artifact, but this is, look at the difference in the artwork there. And even the rear of the side. And once again, I would say the thickness of the cards is comparable. So yeah, they look great. I really like those. In the same pack, there were these. Now these look like treasure cards to me, based on this here, and also based by what is inside. I'll switch over to my other glasses here. So we have, yeah, all different types of treasures inside. That one there doesn't look too good, does it? Don't get that one. So obviously there's some bad ones in there as well, but there's a heap of good treasures in there, coins. So if we have a look at that coins one there. Someone is going to miss this pile, but not you. Now, in the booklet, I'm pretty sure it tells you exactly how many. So rather than you being stuck to what's on just one card, it's going to be different as you go through the adventure. So that's why these, like the idea of these is that you have the variety of what's actually in the treasure itself, but there's also variety in the game. Next we have these. So these are your standard equipment cards. So those other ones were obviously your quest, your special quest ones. These ones are your standard equipment cards that you can buy. So let's have a look. So we've got a whole variety of, look at that, look at the art. It's just lovely. This is one of my favorite cards, I think, this one here. Like that hammer, the war hammer. It just looks awesome. So very impressed with the art, impressed with the size of the cards, and also how it outlays what the cards do. So they're definitely going to be fun to play with. So we'll do another quick comparison. So before we compared just your standard equipment cards. So standard equipment cards from the game we all know. Standard equipment card from TseuQuesT. Okay. Size difference is definite there. Your choice on the artwork, but like that's just much superior, isn't it, than that. So beautiful artwork. So I don't think anyone's going to be upset with that. Here's another cool card. So that's the toolkit. So I think that looks pretty good. So I like those. In that same pack were also these cards here. So these are your monster cards. So as opposed to the other ones that we saw before, which were your special monsters, these are your standard run-of-the-mill, skeletons and orcs and so on, goblins and so on. So these are going to be a lot of fun to play with. So I'm just going to pull one out. I'm going to pull out. Hopefully it's everyone's favorite. It's definitely my favorite. So we're looking at these. So my favorite character in the old game, the Chaos Warrior, which we're going back to the old Milton and Bradley days now with being able to play with a character, Chaos Warrior. So the Chaos Warrior, there we go. 3 attack, 4 defense, and 6 movement. And it also has, so the Chaos Warrior has Chaos Armor, and there's a result of a HQ against him in combat equals 2 skulls. So that's the cool thing about this game is there's the dice, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, really livens things up. And last in that pack was these. So these are your various spell cards. So there's a heap in there. So it's not just 4 per earth, wind, fire, and air. Earth, wind, fire, and water. But there's, how many is there? There's 6 of each. And the game, I'm not going to give it away, but I can tell you that you're not just a fire caster, or you're not just an earth caster. So again, there's one of the fire spells, and we can see the artwork's pretty cool. And there's they all do obviously various different things. So that was one deck. There was another deck. It's been a long time since I've had Gentleman Jack. Quite enjoying it. There was another deck, and it contained a big heap more cards equal to that number. I have no idea what these are. They all look blank to me. They do have some symbols on them. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it will be described in the game. There's one extra of these, which was the equipment card, was it? Anyway, there's one extra of those. And there's these as well, which these ones here are blank. Like, again, they have symbols on them. What does that mean? I don't know. So we'll find that out. A bit similar to these. These are some more spell cards. But on the flip side, we've got, you know, a bunch of symbols, all the same. Once again, I don't know what that means. Now, those blank cards that we saw before, there's a bunch more of them, but they do have information on them. So if I pull one out randomly here, it's burglarized adventurers lose their gold and all their equipment they are carrying but not wearing. It can be used at the end of an adventure if they decide to camp. So, almost like a chance card in Monopoly, I suppose. It's going to be interesting to see how they're utilized. We have a bunch more of these. These are the treasure cards, but these are all bad news, these ones here. So does that mean that that only comes into the game at an event stage? I'm not 100% sure. Again, a heap more of these cards here. These ones here look like different spell cards. Now, one thing I do know is that as you advance through the game, you can not level, I don't want to say level up, because there's something about that you'll find out when you play the game. But you can definitely train. If anybody played, what was that classic one, the anime cartoon where you would get in, you would train up and you could get white hair, but then you'd suddenly be heaps better at fighting. Dragon Balls, that's what I'm thinking of. A little bit like that, I suppose, in combat ability and in casting. These ones here, these are all the bad guy spells here. So once again, bad news, but good news if you are the game master and get to play as Zargon or Morcar. There's a stack more regular spells here. Heaps and heaps and heaps. Heaps of them. So lots and lots and lots. Look at the artwork is just lovely on all of them. I know I'm going fairly quickly. I don't want to give too much away. I want you to enjoy and unpack your box, but the artwork is just beautiful. There's more of these ones here. So these cards here, these are the other ones that we saw were blank, but these ones here, these are almost like a special attack. So we'll have to find out how they're used. Let's have a look at that one there. Blood Rage performs an extra attack action. This result is applied on all adjacent figures. That's Blood Rage. So that's going to be fun to use. And we have 4 more of monster characters there. Are these a little bit more special? Are they ones that we maybe incur in Adventure Booklet 2, which isn't out yet? Don't know. I guess we'll find out. There was one other batch of cards. Let me reach over and grab those. The other batch of cards were these. And these are all about your actions and so on. So this would, I'm going to guess, goes to the player. Special actions, movement, regular actions, and so on. So we look at this card here. We've got actions on one side and special actions on another. So for instance, you can deactivate a trap. You can detect magic traps. And on the other side, on the regular actions, it tells you, so some things that are different there. For instance, with attack, can attack twice per turn, which is a little bit different to what we're used to, obviously. So that's pretty cool. Then you've got fumbles in movement, because depending on how you move, which again, I'm not going to tell you what that means because you'll have to find out. But there are several ways of moving in this game, not just rolling the dice and that's it. Several ways of moving, and there is a result on what happens when you do that. That's going blurry. Why are you doing it? There we go. Cool. So here's something that I've done. I've gone and put those discs on the back there of the character cards, because it's actually how you keep track of how many life points you've got. Look at that. Instead of having to rely on a piece of paper or mind points. So you set it at whatever the character's starting is, and you dial it down or up if they're taking a potion. And there you go. That's pretty cool. So that's great. So that's all the cards. Now let's have a look at the characters and the equipment and so on. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this unboxing of TseuQuesT. I've gone into as much detail as I think we can handle in the video.